kia ora, week 4. This is the week 4 video of back to business, and to be honest, I just uploaded week 3 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago in week 4, yeah. And to be honest, the week 4 video, where it's now Tuesday, going on Wednesday, and this week 4 video was supposed to be on a Sunday. So look, we're getting there with the consistency thing, and I wanna acknowledge and just bring some grace as well. That it is a bit of a tough gig doing all the mahi, putting out all the things and doing all the mahi, when it's just one person. And my week 4 update is about what happened last week, and last week was a huge week of mahi, 3 days straight for like 9 to 10 hours on the computer, like wording, creating, writing, building the website offerings, the kete, the baskets, that people can come and learn from. So all my offerings went up last week, and it was a very, very, very long week, like as long as my hair right now, as knotty as my hair as well. It was a very knotty, long week last week, and so the consistency slipped because I just, truth be told, got really tired, and then I had some plans which I'll go into. So last week was all about. Part of me is like, do I delete this and start again? But I honestly just don't have the time. I want to get out an update, and it's about it's about just what's that word? Just persisting rather than perfection, honestly. At this point, and I do have a perfectionist streak in me. Like I do. I spend a lot of time on the website, just creating and having fun, and at the end of the day it didn't make fucking much sense of what I was writing. Like, it was way too fluffy. I'll go into the process, but I even think I made a video. I don't even know what video I uploaded for week 3, the update for week 3. I just opened my CapCut and the video was there, and I'm pretty sure this is not the video that was going to go out for week 3, because I wanted to talk about how working through my fears. That was the video for week 3, but we've just put out a video where I'm sharing stories about inspiration and what I've learned. So we just pick something out of the Barney bag and put it up there for week 3. That's how much we're not aiming for perfection and the plan that we had. We just put something out there, right? And just like this. So last week, Monday to Friday, was me in my cave writing and arranging and setting up my offerings that I will speak to on social media, out in the world, setting up my offerings as baskets, as kete of knowledge, baskets of knowledge that people can come and learn from. And so I was in that process for 3 days straight, spending way too much fucking time on the computer. My whānau going, hey, what doing? What doing? So, I knew by end of day 2 that I was pushing it, and then day 3 I just lost the plot, right? And I was just perfecting things, and it does look beautiful and all the rest of it, but I was like, oof, wow. And I was just in that zone, in that flow. But on day 3, when I was just about finished, I got this phone call from some of my sisters from Ahikaroa Māori Healing, and I do festivals with them sometimes, and do mahi with them and support the kaupapa, when they need the vibes, and looking after people on the front desk, or in the shop, at festivals, or doing readings at festivals with them. We are whānau, we are family. And the sisters rang up and said, hey, it's the sister's birthday, we want to come out and see you. And I was like, come. come, and they were like, yeah, looks like you need to get off that computer too. So we all just had a beautiful weekend. Well, our weekend started on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, we just had days at the Moana, days in the Moana Ocean, days in Wānanga workshop, just talking story, weaving with each other as wahine woman. And yeah, but Monday to Friday was cooked. It was a lot of mahi, and you know, um it was full on, but it's done. I've worked hard once, and that is done. So aroha mai for the inconsistency here. Consistency has been the main thing that I want to prioritize. Um, you know, because it matters. It matters for people to know that, because I am very consistent in the work that I do with people, but how you do one thing is how you do all things, yeah? And so, um, yeah, putting out the content that I said I was going to put out is really important to me. Yeah, okay. So, what I really wanted to talk about in week 3 was, um, so not last week Monday to Friday, but the week beforehand. What had been coming up a lot was just this notable, visible, present fear. The fear of failure. And I guess what I was speaking about in this video that I've recorded somewhere, but I don't know where it is. What I was speaking about was that in the week 2 video, I was saying that I was in discussion with my current workplace about potentially staying or pushing out my resignation date. We were just in negotiation. And actually, what happened in week 3 was that I decided to keep my resignation date in place, and they accepted it. So I am wrapping up mahi on the 31st of May. So that's this month. Less than 30 days time, I'll be wrapping up, and really like calling back my energy from doing the mahi in that setting, on a full-time basis. And really readjusting to the transition. So there's a date, and that date brought me both excitement and fear. So many what ifs have come up, like just every now and then a what if will come up. Oh, what if, what about, what if, what about, what if this, what about if this happens? Every single time, and my mind wants to entertain those, and rightfully so, because there's reasons like, what if you can't pay your rent or pay your expenses, what if you can't do this, what if you can't do that? And these stories and these dialogues in my head start to like catastrophize out. But I have the tools enough to be able to ground myself and remember why I'm doing this. And it's really important to have a why. Because when these hurricanes come in, and when these winds come in our mind and start to rock the boat, and we're like, "Fuck this, just want to jump ship and like go back to shore," the why keeps our gravity, like keeps us grounded when we're in these 40-foot waves. And so all these what ifs and what about this, what about that, and what if you this, what if you that, these were coming up hard and over the last 2 weeks. And yeah, just really creating space for those parts of me that have that fear. Yeah, that was important. Some people say, oh, don't give it attention, don't give it attention. But parts of us, the parts that exist within us, because we're not just the personality we put out for people to see. There are many parts of us, many facets of us that exist. This is, like archetypes, parts. And so when we don't give attention to these parts, what do? They're like children, you don't give a child attention, they just start screaming even louder. So I don't subscribe to the notion of don't give attention to, parts of me that are fearful. I give them attention, I just don't start cooking them 5 different meals and, like, catering and pandering to their every demand, when they start, like, playing up. I don't do that. I just create a space to listen and hear, and then assure myself, ground myself and that part of me that's, freaking out. But yeah, I don't, like, start acting on that fear. And so one rule of thumb for me is that if there's fear and then I go into a state of procrastination or I become at a standstill, I start avoiding doing things, or, staying on my track, staying on my mission, staying on my kaupapa, if I stop doing those things because I've been fearful, then I know that I'm giving over to that fear. So I give fear space to have its voice, and I feel that fear within me, or the parts of me that, have concerns. And then I just assure myself that, look, and it doesn't sound like, look, we'll be all good. It sounds like, honestly, it sounds like, it doesn't sound like much. It sounds like when I close my eyes and assure myself, it feels like and it looks like the visions of my tupuna, my ancestors, actually going out, onto the open ocean of Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, the Pacific Oceans, and navigating and sailing and leaving their homes. And, every time I go out into the ocean, and I look out, I'm just like, wow, our tupuna, my ancestors, um, they navigated, they sailed these oceans, like, with such courage. And that's the courage that I'm mustering. That is the courage, that is the vision that I have when I close my eyes. And when the what ifs and the what abouts come in, I close my eyes and I think of them. I think of the stories. And that's the only thing that can help me get through, because I would not be here if they had not sailed, if they had not navigated, if they had not had courage. Like, me and all my whānau and all of my whanaunga. So whānau is family, whanaunga, like extended family, all of our relations of the Pacific, we would not all be here if they had not sailed. You know what I mean? If they had not navigated and created our ways of being, it just would not, like, we wouldn't be here. And so I know that it's possible. I know that it's scary when you leave the shore. I know that all the what ifs and what abouts are going to be there, and they are valid. However, the reason why you're going on the voyage has to be bigger than all of that. Has to be bigger than all of that. There's a story about one of my tupuna rangatira, one of my ancient ancestors, Kupe, and when he was on one of his voyages, his wife, his wahine, brought some, caution just before he went on his voyage. She was cautioning him about something. I won't go into detail because I don't want to, like, butcher it. I'm not in the space of, like, recounting the story detail for detail. I don't want to get it wrong, but she was bringing caution to him before he set sail. And as a consequence, because her and the children were staying, and she was fearful and bringing caution to him about the voyage, something about the voyage. And as a result, because of that fear, because of that caution that she brought, he made her and the children come on that voyage because of that fear. So there was no place for doubt and bringing in that, that caution or that worry. And it's just like, wow, that meant, like, that way, that story, that story, that pūrākau, that story is just so powerful. It's like, whoa, like, part of us also has to have unwavering courage continue the voyage forward. So for me, I definitely acknowledge the parts of me that have, you know, that there is this unwavering confidence and courage to keep taking the action steps forward, even though we might be a little inconsistent. But it's all about just one foot in front of the other, and we're learning. And also, there's that part of me that has that caution and that fear, and knowing how to bring these two into balance and bring harmony as I continue to journey. So while it all sounds like I have my shit together and I have these tools, the human side of me that has to first receive these waves of fears and doubts when they hit, they're still uncomfortable to hold. And I still have to reach for my courage, I have to find it back over here. I have to reach and find my courage. Reach and find my paddle and just, keep going. This weekend was beautiful in the sense that I had to get me right, and so being with my sisters and there's wahine and really like cultivating that safety within myself, and giving them a space to just be and like enjoy and relax after all the mahi they do, and then at the end for me to be able to receive from them, there was just so much harmony and balance over this weekend, and it's really set me up for moving forward. So I'm going to keep this video quite short here. This is my week 4 update. This week coming up, well I'm already in it, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I am all about, so I've put out my offers online. So all the kete, all the baskets of knowledge have been put out onto kapaoracollective.com. I've shared them on Instagram. I've shared them as posts on my Facebook, Instagram. All of that has been done. And now it's about talking story. It's about sharing stories that help people deeper understand this work, to help people create a deeper resonance with this work. And as I've said in a post that I created, this mission is not just about me. Like, honestly, if my human had its way, it would just, find the comfort in, a tech company, bite my lip, make money, go on holidays, and, have nice things, whatever, and just take care of myself. But something deep inside me, something deep inside me just is not built that way, right? And it's always focusing on like the mission. Like, what is the mission? And as a projector, we're always on a mission to help humanity to become more efficient. And the more I've been learning about human design, like the more and more that has like activated and like gotten more and more stronger. So here we are, and it's not just about me, it's about all of us. And so what I was saying on one of my posts is that it's not just about me, it's about all of us, and all of us can be involved in this kaupapa. So you might not work with me or kapaora, directly, but you might believe and love the kaupapa and the work so much that your role that you choose to play is to share posts or talk about it with people. When I think about my tupuna and setting sail out onto the open ocean, yes, there were those that were on the waka. Yes, there were those that were on the waka, but there was people who prepared the kai. There were people who prepared it on the other side. Like, there was a lot of preparation that went into it. There were a lot of help, from from people. I don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing, right? So there's a lot of behind the scenes work. And so if you resonate with the work, if you resonate with the mission, if you resonate with what is happening here, okay, if you resonate that this is not just for me. I'm not doing this just to build a business. Yes, I have to produce resources to be able to not have to work for another company. However, if you can resonate and connect to the deeper, like the bigger picture here of what is happening, then to share, to talk about it, to recommend it, to talk story about it when you're in conversations about human design, about the mahi that Kapa Ora is dedicated to doing, then play your part and play it proudly, um and be proud about that, and because we're all gonna do our part. It takes a village, it really does. And yeah, we all get to share this. I just happen to be the one that has to like be consistent and build websites and all the rest of it. But there is a space and a place for everybody um at Kapora. That's really like, if you're a part, if you want to be a part of the whānau, then, no mai hara mai, please, welcome. The doors are open, right? And that doesn't just mean that you are investing and paying to do work. There are other ways that you can help. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said, I wanted to be short, and now it's like 21 minutes. So that was week 4, and hei a te rā wiki. I'll see you next week. Kia ora.